The stock market has largely been going up, with just a few down days here and there. But there's an old saying that the stock market is not the real economy, and with millions of Americans using their plastic more than ever before, racking up trillions of dollars in debt, will there be eventually a day of reckoning? We're joined by Howard Dvorkin of Debt.com to see what he's seeing in the economy. And Howard, what's your assessment of the current economic conditions?
I mean, I believe that people are struggling, certainly by the calls that we're getting in and the email traffic from Debt.com. It's been busier than it has been in a long time. Remember, during the pandemic, there was a lot of free money, and people reduced their payments on their credit cards or reduced their balances using that money. And now they've charged it up because of the excess inflation. So they're putting that money and building it back. Credit card usage, or the balances, went from almost $1 trillion before the pandemic to $500 billion. And now, after the pandemic has gone, it's over $1 trillion, TRINA, and I don't expect it to stop anytime soon. In fact, I think in 2030, we'll probably be at $1.5 trillion.
Very scary. So the interest rates are so high on that debt, though, that they're using on their plastic. This is really a dangerous situation for the consumer.
It's a horrific situation right now. Credit card companies, even while they were only being charged by the federal government 2% or 0% interest, they still maintained very high interest rates. So consumers who were carrying debt still were paying at 17 or 20%. Now credit card balances are 20 to 25% that they're being assessed interest at. So it is very scary. So anything you buy, you should buy for cash, or if you use your credit card, make sure you pay it off the following month when the bill comes in, because any discount you might be thinking you're saving, you're going to end up paying it in interest and more.
And so we've heard all these things about revenge travel and that people are buying things that they could not get during the pandemic. But it seems like people are even putting everyday stuff on their credit cards now. Why is that happening?
Well, things are so expensive. Yes, wages have increased from what we've seen at Debt.com, but the expenses that people have been incurring for basic things, gasoline, food, all that, have far exceeded any wage increase that a person may have had, and they're putting the excess, what they can't afford to pay for currently, they're putting it on their credit cards. Yes, there is a lot of traveling going out. Restaurants here in South Florida are very busy, but South Florida is not a good indication for the rest of the country. We are kind of trapped in this bubble because we haven't been hit by as much of a recessionary factor that the rest of the country has seen, because people are still migrating to Florida. 1,000 people a day move to Florida, and that's hiding the true effects of this economy.
And I know there have been some studies that have come out recently saying that we actually pay more for example, grocery items than other places in the country. That has to be hurting people as well.
We do indeed. But remember, Florida is a peninsula and everything gets shipped in. That being said, the food prices are very, very high compared to the rest of the country. And there's just overall a lack of variety where we can shop at in this state.
How do these buy now, pay later companies factor into all of this? How is that helping, I guess, people kind of extend their ability to buy even though they technically don't have the money?
Well, it's interesting. You go on to Amazon and say, oh, you could either pay $100 now or pay $25 every month for the next 4 months. God forbid you default from that and don't make your payments. That's a problem because you're going to get hurt. So I think that is making people finance lifestyle purchases that they can't afford to begin with.
And talk a little bit about the kinds of interest rates that people are seeing now, because when the interest rates went up, when the Federal Reserve upped them, then that went up on your credit cards and everything else as well.
Right. Well, we've saw increases from essentially 2%, 3%, all the way up to 6% at 25 basis points a clip. Now you're going to see the Federal Reserve reduce those interest rates a little bit. It's not going to be overwhelming, but we have to get the economy started, and people have to start buying houses, and a lot of interesting things happen when a person buys a house. They go through, they buy things for the house, whether it's furniture or toiletries or whatever, they spend money, and we can't get this economy going until people start spending money. But remember, they have to have the money in the bank to pay the bills off when the music stops.
So true. Quickly tell me how Debt.com can help folks out of this situation.
Certainly, Debt.com has been around. We've just celebrated our 10th year anniversary. As you know, I've been doing this for 30 years, and so I'm excited about that. We will go through and we'll evaluate whether you have credit card problems, tax problems, just need some budgeting advice. We'll go through and we'll help you, and we'll basically coordinate you to speak with a certified credit counselor to figure out what the best option is for you to get out of debt once and for all, and save you a lot of money at the same time.
Howard, thank you so much. I know a lot of folks are going to need your help as we go forward.